Breaking. Early voting hits all-time high. 7.3 million Canadians cast ballots before Election Day. In a historic show of civic participation, more than 7.3 million Canadians have already cast their votes ahead of the upcoming federal election set for April 28th. According to Elections Canada, this record-breaking early turnout represents roughly a quarter of all eligible voters, an extraordinary spike of 25% over the early vote count from the 2021 federal election. The figure underscores a remarkable surge in political engagement and a public hungry to shape the country's direction. Advance voting took place over 4 consecutive days during the Easter long weekend, from Friday to Monday. Election officials reported long lines at polling stations nationwide, with a staggering 2 million Canadians voting on the very first day alone. The sheer volume of early voters has raised eyebrows among political analysts and party insiders alike, with some interpreting the numbers as a signal of high-stakes urgency felt by Canadians across the political spectrum. The surge is also mirrored in mail-in ballots. More than 754,000 Canadians have returned special ballots by mail, already exceeding the total of 660,000 submitted in the 2021 election. Whether voting by post or in person, Canadians are showing an unusual intensity in their commitment to participate, despite the fact that the final results remain too close to call. At the heart of this democratic push is a tight and highly polarized campaign between the two major federal parties, the governing Liberals, now under new leadership, and the resurgent Conservatives, who are focusing heavily on economic and affordability issues. Mark Carney, who took the helm of the Liberal Party following the resignation of former Prime Minister Justin Trudeau earlier this year, is now leading the party through one of its most closely watched election battles in decades. A seasoned economist and former governor of both the Bank of Canada and the Bank of England, Carney brings a technocratic edge to his leadership style. Since stepping into the role, he has positioned the Liberals as the party of fiscal prudence and pragmatic governance, pledging middle-class tax cuts and streamlined federal programs aimed at cost efficiency. Carney's campaign has taken him to strategic regions across the country, including recent events in Prince Edward Island and Quebec, provinces seen as critical to securing a Liberal majority. His messaging has focused on financial responsibility, support for working families, and a commitment to rebuilding public trust in federal institutions after years of political division. While avoiding overt partisanship, Carney has distinguished his vision as one anchored in experience, stability, and detailed economic planning. Meanwhile, Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre has mobilized a campaign rooted in a message of change. Appearing in Vaughan, Ontario this week, Poilievre addressed supporters with his signature call for fiscal restraint, criticizing what he describes as a decade of overspending and inflationary pressures under Liberal rule. His policy platform centers on affordability, lowering taxes, eliminating the carbon tax, and reducing government bloat to combat rising living costs and restore financial balance for ordinary Canadians. Poilievre has also emphasized law and order, housing affordability, and energy independence as cornerstones of his campaign. He is promising to simplify housing regulations and incentivize development to address the national housing crisis, which remains top of mind for many voters, particularly younger Canadians and families in urban centers who feel increasingly priced out of homeownership. The public response to both campaigns has been notably intense. High attendance at rallies, active political discussions on social media, and record early voter numbers suggest a population that is not only aware but deeply invested in the outcome of this election. For many, the stakes feel existential, not just a referendum on party platforms, but on the future character of the country itself. Polling data leading into the final week of the campaign paints a portrait of a nation divided but highly engaged. The latest numbers suggest the Liberals are maintaining a narrow lead, with some surveys showing a 5-point edge over the Conservatives. However, with turnout this high and many ridings still in statistical dead heats, the final result could swing on razor-thin margins in key battlegrounds. Third-party movements are also shaping the dynamics of the race. The Bloc Québécois, which fields candidates only in Quebec and advocates for greater provincial autonomy, is polling in third place and could play a crucial role in determining whether either major party can secure a majority. The new Democratic Party, traditionally positioned to the left of the Liberals, is trailing in fourth, but could also influence outcomes in several close contests, particularly in British Columbia and parts of Ontario. One striking element of this election has been the heightened level of national reflection. With political leaders often speaking to themes of identity, governance, and the long-term direction of the country, Canadians are being asked not just to choose between parties, but to consider what kind of country they want Canada to be in the years ahead. Early voter turnout is not just a numerical trend, it's a cultural moment, a signal that citizens are increasingly unwilling to sit on the sidelines. The sense of urgency is palpable. Whether motivated by economic hardship, concerns over governance, or a desire for renewal, voters appear more determined than ever to make their voices heard. The long weekend did not deter participation, it amplified it. Civic engagement has broken through traditional barriers of timing, convenience, and apathy, pointing to a potentially transformative election ahead. With less than a week until Election Day, campaigns are entering their final stretch. Every speech, every riding, and every undecided vote now matters more than ever. Both the Liberals and Conservatives are fine-tuning their ground games, targeting key ridings and pushing their messages harder in the final days. Whatever the outcome, this record-setting early turnout has already made history. It's a moment that signals change is in the air, whether through continuity under a new Liberal leader or a shift in direction under a Conservative government. Canadians have shown they're ready to decide. And the final word rests with them.